Welcome, guys, to the very first episode of Scenic Views. We are finally here. I know it's been a long time coming, but we're happy, we're excited, and we're here to give you the best in geek culture and movie news.
That's what we're aiming for. My name is Gio. This is Manny. And really, we're just a bunch of nobodies. So thank you for joining in. We just love movies. We love geek culture.
Man. And apparently people care about what
which is interesting because, like I said, we just like talking about this stuff. And apparently people want to hear about this. They want to join in on the conversation. So again, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, things you dislike, things you like, hit the like button, hit the dislike button.
But most importantly,
subscribe. That's the one we need here. Please. Because we really have a lot of cool ideas in the pipeline planned for you as far as where we kind of want to take this channel. But really, the main thing that got us to really start so quick without like really much time to plan was Comic-Con is this weekend, guys.
This is the biggest time for like movies, comic book news, video games, everything, bro. This is when all this stuff happens.
This is the year or the time of year that a lot of people, both movies, comic related, games, and clothes, vacation. This is the time of year a lot of people look forward to, and a lot of stuff is coming out of Comic-Con. And because it's Comic-Con weekend, things might be being leaked by studios or being released because of the timing of it.
Of course, this is the golden era of comic movies.
Yeah.
So because of that, since there's a lot of comic movies,
I would say that is very accurate.
Yeah, exactly. We have even Netflix giving us shows that are coming up.
Vendors, all these things. But the one we're focusing on is Shazam. Now, Aquaman is still in production, and that's going to be the next one coming out. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Shazam is part of the DC universe, and we're going to have our expert, so to speak, on Shazam. Expert fan,
guy
if you will.
Who reads a lot of comics and has been following this since he was a kid, pretty much.
Expert. We're going to have him describe who Shazam is, but for those who don't know on a much more basic, just regular level, you have Marvel, and Marvel's been putting out a lot of cool movies, starting off with Iron Man, and then they went with if I'm not mistaken,
Hulk came right after. Yeah.
So Iron Man came out, then Hulk, Thor, Captain America, then you got Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, and then it's just growing.
Blew up into this huge universe.
And this is awesome because this is movies that people have been really wanting to see, and they're adapting it to the big screen. But that's Marvel. Now you have DC, and DC started off their run with Man of Steel.
DC is definitely a lot more.
They're the darker ones.
As far as movie goes, they're a lot more on the come up than Marvel.
They are. They're fresh.
Not solidified yet. Yeah.
It's safe to say that they're actually trying to play catch up a little bit, and that's fair because they Marvel and Kevin Feige and everybody over there at Disney and those studios have been really doing a phenomenal job. Yeah. And so, of course, naturally, Warner Brothers and DC, Warner Brothers Studios, who has the right to DC properties as far as making movies goes, Warner Brothers has the exclusive rights to making anything DC. So Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, and anything in that world, Aquaman, Flash. So what's really cool is that now they're starting to do movies, and they started off their universe with Man of Steel, which was really good. Yeah. I liked it, but there's fans are divided, but that's cool.
Yeah, a lot of the hardcore comic fans had a problem with it just because it didn't hit the right tone Superman should have hit.
Right.
But again, that's a different
topic.
Right.
Yeah. That's a whole other topic for another time. But then following that one was Batman versus Superman. Yeah. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Absolutely. And that title, Dawn of Justice, lets us know the dawn of the Justice League. And so who's not excited to see two icons and legends on the screen for the very first time? Listen, I had Batman underwear, Batman clothes, Batman toys, Batman shoes, Batman Band-Aids, everything. Batman, the Batman cave, Batman lake. I was a Batman nut as a kid. Yeah. And so seeing him on the screen for the first time with the Superman that we knew was going to kick off the DC universe was really neat, and arguably one of the best renditions of Batman that we got in the movies.
Like, a lot
take
of
Christopher
people,
Nolan out because the Dark Knight, that was Batman, and that was phenomenal. But that was a whole different world. That was more grounded in reality.
Exactly, and that's what people kind of get confused. That sometimes they say these movies are bad when they're not comic book accurate. But the Dark Knight trilogy kind of proved that wrong. Right.
And so then people are wondering, why isn't this Superman with this Batman? Two different universes, two different realms. The trilogy was a standalone thing, and it has nothing to do with what we now have.
Exactly.
So Batman v Superman comes out, and it just is divided down the middle. People either hate it or love it. What I would suggest is watch the director's cut, not the theatrical release, because that will give you a far better insight into what that movie was aiming for.
You will like this movie phenomenally more.
And it smooths out the potholes.
It really does.
Potholes that the movie has. But then Suicide Squad came, and we're not going to go there, but man, did they miss the boat. And that's not the director's fault. That's the studio's fault. But we won't get into that. That's a whole other topic for a whole other conversation and a whole other video. But then Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman was probably the one that
that's the one that reset the course.
We've been waiting
unanimously.
Yes.
Top five for 7 weeks in a row in the box office. That's no small thing. And all the stuff that was pinned up against it, and that it was a leading female. All the
nonsense. Wonder Woman wasn't a character that people could get behind. All this
nonsense.
Stuff, bro, out the window, man.
So DC finally hit it, and so now they're doing reshoots for the next one that's coming out next, which is Justice League. And they're reamping. And when you hear reshoots, don't get crazy or mad. Reshoots are always planned in every movie, even the movies I've done. Reshoots are necessary because you just don't see everything.
From what we've seen of Justice League so far, it looks like a phenomenal movie.
So far. From what we've seen, trailers, and it's just trailers.
And again, Comic-Con weekend, so I'm hoping we get another trailer soon.
We get something, hopefully, and we'll be covering that as well. So get ready for that.
Stay tuned.
So, but now they have that, and now they're wrapping that up, and Aquaman is the next one up.
The next one after.
And so James Wan, phenomenal horror director, he does like these psychological movies, and so what better to dive into that world, in a world that to us is scary, new, and with a director who I think can bring that kind of
in a world where this guy continuously fights sea monsters and stuff like that.
Who knows? And Aquaman, for all not for nothing, but I used to hate on Aquaman. I'm not gonna lie. There's this dude under the sea, and then that picture of Jason Momoa came out with the Poseidon staff. I think
that they're making this. That's the name of it, right? No. The Trident. The Trident,
right? Or Poseidon. Right.
Exactly. So so the way that they're making this Aquaman look, I think, is probably the best thing they could have done. Just because Aquaman for a long time was the punchline to a lot of jokes. You know what I mean? Like I like Aquaman. I love Aquaman. He's
you've been defending him for a very long time.
He's top 3 for me in DC. I love him. But again, we'll get into that.
That's a whole nother conversation.
But he's top 3 for me in DC. I love Aquaman. So he was the punchline for a lot of jokes for a long time. So I like the fact that they're kind of making this like badass version of him,
and the footage that they've been releasing of him and the behind the scene footage of him and Mara, right? Mara and everybody else, like it just. Mirror. Fans, don't kill me. Listen, I know, like I said, I didn't like him too much. Right, I can tell you a lot about Bruce Wayne and Superman, but Aquaman is currently being shot. Justice League is pretty much in the can. The next one, which brings us to this quick topic in this release, Shazam. So we're here to talk about Shazam, and quite honestly, I don't think anybody's been clamoring for it. I have some views, and we've discussed this earlier, but the first thing that comes to my mind when I read the news was Shazam. Like, who's asking for this?
Okay.
And then the average fan doesn't know. But now let me ask you, explain to them, who is Shazam? For those who don't know who Shazam is, and tell us a little bit about him. And then that'll segue us into the movie that we've been reading about and why that is kind of scary, good, bad.
So, the reason, again, we're talking about Shazam is because a lot of news came out involving Shazam's movie that's coming out.
Right. And it's Comic-Con weekend again, so they're going to be releasing a lot of things.
Exactly. The
Shazam! Thunder!
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's
it's
with us
perfect.
Right now. He's with us right now, yeah. So the basics of Shazam is that he is a little boy. His name is Billy Bastion.
Like 10 years old, right?
He's
like
10
he's very
to 13,
young.
just depending on what connotation you're reading.
Right. I've got almost a 3-year-old son, so I can't imagine 10 more years him being a superhero.
Right? And that's kind of the whole thing.
But how does it work?
That, when you're a kid, what more do you want than to be a superhero?
Right.
So that's why he is so Spider-Man. That's why he's so relatable. It's because it's this kid who gets what he wants. He's a superhero. It's awesome. He ends up meeting this wizard who actually, now that I think about it, his name might be Shazam as well. But I'm not going to even go into that. Right. If anything, we'll put the name of the wizard somewhere.
Yeah, you guys can let us know. Comment.
Exactly. Please.
And
then so he gets these powers from this wizard, and he grants them. I think it's the S is for the speed of Hermes. H is for I don't know.
Acronym.
It's an acronym of some sort. But he's basically this little kid who becomes a superhero, joins the Justice League. As far as background on the character goes, he was actually originally owned by a different company whose name escapes me at the moment. But he was very similar to Superman, which caused some friction between DC and them.
Right.
Yeah, and DC ended up acquiring the rights. Now, since back then his name was actually known as Captain Marvel. And since
not to be confused with the Marvel Cinematic Universe Captain Marvel, who's a
totally different character.
Right.
So for a real long time, there was 2 Captain Marvels, which, as you can imagine, drives
and this isn't
nuts.
new. I mean, you've got Deathstroke who inspired Deadpool. You've got a lot of people from DC that inspired the next one. So,
but in this case, they were really 2 different characters, which is why DC changed it from Captain Marvel to Shazam. Now, the crazy thing is that in the movie, apparently the news that we got today is that he's not going to be a 10-year-old boy. It's going to be like
that's what I read.
A grown man.
It's a man named Billy that the movie is going to focus on. And another thing to note is that it's going to be done by New Line Cinema, which is Warner Brothers'
like
sister company, like a smaller, low budget company. And so what that tells me is, okay, again, you have to remember, Warner Brothers has the exclusive rights to any DC property. So if any of their sister companies or whatever want to shoot it, or if they want to give it to them, you have to wonder what I'm thinking as a movie maker. What's the game plan here? And it's a more low budget film studio, but they're putting together this movie. And so now 1 or 2 things comes to mind, and I tend to lean just a little bit on the positive side. But the first thing that I automatically think of is, do they not have faith in this project? And then secondly, I think, okay, or maybe they're going the Deadpool route where they'll let them take a chance with a low budget, and if they can do a good amount of selling and getting this character out there with a low budget, then in the future that allows them to make, the risk is there, but it's not.
Now
but
it's interesting you said that that they're taking a risk, because like, there's good and bad here.
There's so much, and this is where the speculation comes in.
Exactly. So the good is that, again, like, since it's a side project, since it's New Line, it's not Warner Brothers. Hopefully they'll let them kind of handle the movie how it should be. They'll let the director give us the movie he wants. You know what I mean? So it's not a million different voices saying how this movie should be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Too many chefs in the kitchen. Never a good thing. And again, that's why we got what we got with Suicide Squad. I mean, it's not always the director's fault, but because the director's front and center, he's the one who's going to get the flag, and he handled that with class. He didn't. He didn't go out and attack the studios like other directors have in press releases or anything. So,
and you know what? The other good thing about this movie. So I don't. We might have said this already, but the reason this movie's coming out now is because Flash lost their director, plus Ezra Miller.
No, we didn't. We didn't discuss that, which is a big deal.
Okay, there we go. So Shazam. The reason Shazam is the next one after Aquaman is because Flash lost his director. Ezra Miller is also busy doing Fantastic Beasts 2.
Right.
So they're not going to be able to do it during the time that they wanted to. So now they're pushing Shazam. Now the good thing about this is that DC doesn't take a lot of risks outside of
that's the thing I'm thinking about. Like, it's because it's DC and they have DC has some pretty iconic. They have icons,
they're
but
so
then
heavy on those guys.
Marvel has a lot more, and
it's not even that Marvel has more; is that they're willing to give those guys chances.
Well, they're taking risks with Guardians of the Galaxy. They're taking risks with Captain Marvel, Ant-Man, who is pivotal in the comics to the creation of Ultron. But they gave that to Tony Stark, and of course. I get it, but in this case,
this is one of the
Shazam, but is Shazam
points.
what we need? Like, because how does that? And if he is going to be a part of the DC movie, how does that fit in? Like, the whole question is like, how do you guys think that'll fit in with the direction that they plan on taking this now? Are they trying to do the Marvel route, whether it's the Justice League and then the new Justice League members, and then there's so much.
Shazam ends up being a member of the Justice League, so I wouldn't be surprised if down the road, maybe not. Well, definitely not in this next movie, but down the road, if we saw him join the Justice League, it wouldn't come to a surprise for me anyway, because he is part of that.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a shock. It's just I don't see. I guess the more I talk about it out loud, I'm optimistic because there are risks being taken. But on the other end, I just don't think it's a movie that needs to come up next.
The reason I think it's good is because, again, it gives you a character you haven't seen on screen yet, literally ever.
Fair point.
So it gives you a character,
agree with that.
and DC is a company that they really need that. They really need the new guys, and not only that, but if this character can do a really good movie. Like, you can get other characters. Expand, you can get maybe it'll make them feel more confident about their lesser characters.
For sure, and for all we know, they could be taking a page out of Marvel's book because people forget that Iron Man was not a household name
at all. Yeah, good point.
Sony owns the rights exclusively to Marvel. A lot of Marvel's properties, Sony has some properties, and Sony owns Sony and Fox. Fox has Deadpool, Fox has X-Men, Fox has Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four. Give them back. Some of them, maybe not all of them.
Please,
keep Deadpool because you're doing great with that one. But Sony is the only one who's allowed to make, in this case, a Spider-Man movie. But because Marvel didn't have the rights to that, they went and they took a risk with the character in Tony Stark, an alcoholic, womanizing kind of guy. Yeah. And they really started the universe with him. And so people forget he wasn't a household name. Not a lot of people knew about Iron Man. So this could be the case with Shazam. So you're kind of winning me over with that. Yeah. But I'm still not sure. So now we leave it to you guys. This is going to be one
of those things where we're going to have to kind of wait till we see.
We have to follow it. We have to
follow it. We have to see what direction it goes. Another big thing that people are probably wondering about is I believe it was a year ago, The Rock was announced as Black Adam, who is Shazam's main antagonist.
Right.
Now, for those of you wondering, he will not be in this
Shazam movie.
Right. Black Adam's going to get his own movie, and then they're going to have a movie with the both of them.
You see, this is interesting.
Now, see, here's what really worries me is that there were rumors that apparently Black Adam was going to team with Shazam, and me seeing that is like seeing the Red Skull team with Captain America. And I'm like, dude, I can't, like, right. What are you talking about?
Like, you see, but again, I think they're taking a risk, so I'm gonna give them some, some points there.
Yeah.
But on the other end, I'm just not convinced because they're just now starting to right the ship with their movies with Wonder Woman. So just don't bite off more than you could chew. Start with Aquaman. Let's just build, guys. Exactly. Let's just take our time. And so it's just one of those things I'm not sure, but really
we're optimistic.
But we're not cautious. Yeah, but you make some good points. But the question is, what do you guys think? Are you excited for a Shazam movie? For those who don't know, if you want to know any more about Shazam, comment on the bottom. Leave us an email.
Is there stuff we missed? Because again, I don't know everything about Shazam, so please.
Right. We're not professing to be the end all shop here. We're just a couple guys who start talking movies, and this is Comic-Con week, and again, so we're gonna be keeping our ears close to the ground as possible and starting to spit out videos for you guys to start talking about some of the things that they're gonna be talking about. Hopefully some The Last Jedi, some more Star Wars, maybe some Han Solo, some Infinity War. Like there's so much, but we're gonna be keeping you guys up to date. Again, our setup is growing as we do each video because we just started this weekend with Comic-Con and we had to kind of fast track what we had planned here. Exactly. But what do you guys think? And if you have any questions, write them in the comment section. Please don't forget to subscribe. And also, if you want us to talk about certain things, and if there's certain comments that you like, or not comments that you like, but there's certain things that you want us to talk about, you can write here at Scenic Views Movie News at gmail.com. Scenic Views Movie News at gmail.com. Send us in some questions. We'll answer them. And we want to get involved with you guys because we love talking about this as much as we know you guys do. So thanks for joining us. And until next time, this is Scenic Views, and you guys stay scenic.
Yeah, please.
Right? No?
Yeah,
sure.
Sure, whatever. Yeah. All right.